Hey guys, so today we're going to be looking at volumes of cylinders. If you remember about volumes of prisms, the volume of any prism type shape is the area of the base times the height, or the distance between the bases. So remember, this is talking about area of the base, and then this is talking about the height or the distance between the bases. Right? So what we are going to see here is if I take this volume example and I apply it to a cylinder, let's just say I can do that, the volume would be equal to whatever the area of my base is, which in this situation, what is our base? Our base is going to be a circle. And do we remember what the area formula for a circle is? Well, if you remember, it's pi times the radius squared. So the area of my base is going to be pi times the radius squared, and then my height is going to be however tall this cylinder is, or the distance between the bases, because I might have a cylinder that's lying on its side. And in this situation, according to this example, the distance between the bases now is actually going to be this length here, not necessarily how far up and down it is. So this is going to be the height of my cylinder. So what is the height? Well, it's just whatever the height happens to be. So whenever we are calculating the volumes of cylinders, the only variable here really is how tall is the cylinder and what is the radius of the cylinder. Those are the things that I need to figure out in order to calculate this. So let's look at an example real quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my volume formula. I'm going to calculate the area of the base times the height. And so the area of my base is pi times radius squared, and then times the height. So I now can just plug in what I know. It's pi times my radius, which is 10 squared, times my height, which is the distance between the bases, which in this case is 5. So when I punch in 3.14 times 10 squared, which is 100, times 5, 1570. Okay, let's look at one more example real quick. All right, so here we have another example of a cylinder, although this is not up and down anymore. So we need to go ahead and write out our formula here. So it's the area of the base times the height. And what are my bases here? Well, my bases are going to be my circles in this cylinder. So it's going to be pi times whatever my radius squared is. But what's my radius? Well, before you say 11, notice what 11 is here. 11 is actually the distance all the way across the circle. So in order for it to be my radius, it needs to be from the center to the edge. So it'll be pi times, if the diameter is 11, then that means the radius is half of that, which is 5.5, and that's going to be squared, pi r squared. And then it's going to be times my height, which, again, before you say the height is 11, because that's the up and down distance, the height when we're calculating volume is always the distance between the bases. So if my two bases are the circles, my height is now going to be this distance right here. So it's going to be times 9. So if I get out my calculator and type in 3.14 times 5.5 squared times 9, I should get 854.865. Depending on how it tells you to round, I'm going to say round it to the nearest 100th place. So we're going to put it at 0.87. So this is going to be whatever the units are cubed as my volume. Okay, so this is a good quick overview on how to calculate the volumes of cylinders. I hope this helps.